Yuka, a storied centuries-old British institution is set to be sold to a foreign firm.
Royal Mail's parent company has accepted a multi-billion-pound offer from Czech billionaire Daniel Kretinsky, though the deal still needs approval by shareholders and the British government. Now, the Postal Service can trace its roots as far back as 1516, when Henry VIII knighted the first master of the post. The British government privatised it about a decade ago, but in the era of emails, it has struggled to make a profit. Vedika Bahel has the details.
With 500 years behind it, it's one of the world's oldest postal institutions. But the Royal Mail's iconic red postboxes with their regal crest may have a new owner, as its parent company, International Distribution Services, has agreed to a £3.6 billion takeover by Czech billionaire Daniel Kretinsky's EP Group, who's pledged to revive the company after a few years battling labour strikes, a fall in demand and a deterioration in service. The group also pledged various commitments to retain the Royal Mail name, headquarters and UK tax residency, as well as maintaining the one price goes anywhere, 6 days a week service for the next 5 years.
Royal Mail is part of the fabric of UK society and has been for hundreds of years. I know that owning this business will come with enormous responsibility, not just to the employees, but to the citizens who rely on its services every day.
48-year-old Kretinsky is nicknamed the Czech Sphinx for his enigmatic, discreet business style, making much of his €7 billion fortune from Central and Eastern European energy. He's also got several companies in his basket, including stakes in West Ham Football Club, British retailer Sainsbury's, with plans to buy France's sixth-largest retailer Casino, and a division of tech company Atos. Royal Mail shareholders will vote September end on whether to approve the deal, and it may still be blocked by the government under the National Security and Investment Act.
And meanwhile, Yuka, a potential mega merger in the mining sector has fallen apart.
Australia's BHP walked away from its $49 billion plan to take over British rival Anglo American after the latter rejected an 11th-hour request to extend talks. It was a fourth proposal by BHP after the previous three were rejected as undervalued. However, the mining giants demand that Anglo American spin off its South African businesses before the takeover and focus on top-tier commodities such as copper proved to be a sticking point. The British firm was worried that it would hurt its shareholders. Anglo also announced its own plans to divest some assets, including its De Beers diamond business. Anglo American shares dropped almost 4% after talks with BHP broke down, while Royal Mail's owner, International Distribution Services, rose 4%. US stocks pulled back this Wednesday, with the Dow Jones shedding more than 400 points at the close. Let's have a look at the figures now. Dow Jones down 1%, the S&P losing 0.75%, the Nasdaq finishing the day down 0.6 percentage point. Monty.
Well, Germany's cabinet has approved new bills to help its energy transition.
The aim is to accelerate the integration of hydrogen and carbon capture into the country's energy system while maintaining heavy industries. The government has set the goal of becoming carbon neutral by 2045 ahead of the EU. Berlin bets big on hydrogen as a way to cut greenhouse gas emissions for highly polluting industrial sectors that cannot be electrified, such as steel and chemicals. One of the draft laws would give hydrogen projects overriding public interest status to prioritise their approvals. The other is on the more controversial carbon capture project. It would allow industries to remove CO2 from their emissions and store the gas under the sea, something that has previously been banned. Environmental groups have voiced concern over risks to marine life. Economy Minister Robert Habeck said protected areas would be excluded from offshore storage sites.
The CCS, the Carbon Dioxide Storage Act, covers the capture, transportation and storage of CO2. I assumed that a few months ago this law would have caused quite a stir. But today you have to realize that the majority of society agrees with how we've drawn up the bill. In any case, I can't hear any voices of protest.